Hello and welcome to my channel. This video is part of NISM Mutual Funds tutorial. I've already covered 12 chapters related to this playlist. So kindly go through those videos. You will get a better understanding and it would help you clear your exam with good scores. You can find the link to the playlist on the I button in the description box as well as at the end of this video. For this one, we would be covering the topic financial planning and model portfolios. So there has been an additional topic in the new syllabus of yours. So it is extremely important and I will try explaining this to you so that you don't miss out any multiple choice questions related to this topic. If you like the video, do hit the like button and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. That would be a real support. And now let's start with this. Financial planning. So a simple definition is mentioned over here. It is a planned and systematic approach to provide for the financial goals that will help people realize their needs and aspirations. What you need to consider in this whole definition is that financial goals. Why are we doing financial planning? Why do we even need to plan our finances? Can't we manage with whatever salary we are getting? Can't we manage all our needs and aspirations with the same thing? Why do we need to do a proper financial planning to achieve our financial goals? So let me give you some examples of your financial goals. Your financial goals could be buying a new house. Your financial goal could be buying a new car, funding your children's education, funding your own marriage. So these are some of the examples of financial goal one could have. And we can understand that all these financial goals involve a lot of amount, a lot of corpus to be spent. Now, managing that huge amount or huge corpus out of your daily income will disturb your budget enormously, and it won't even be possible unless you are in a very high paying job. If we talk about most of the middle class people, it's not possible to cover all their needs and aspirations with the same salary that they are getting. So financial planning becomes important because everyone has these financial goals and they want to achieve it, so that everyone deserves to achieve all those goals. We need to do a proper financial planning. One has not to look after for loans and paying out EMIs and getting stuck in a debt burden. So it's better to first you plan your financials, you make investments, you make saving, and then you complete all the aspirations and the needs that you are having. So this chapter is focusing on the same. Even as a mutual fund distributor, as a financial planner, whatever you would be opting in your career, you need to understand that how you should deal with your client, how you should deal with the investor. If they are approaching you, if they want that you plan their finances, how you should go about it. Okay, so this video would be focusing on the same. Now we have some examples of financial goal. Here is one more you can go through. Example of financial goal. You want to pursue your post-graduation after 3 years, which would cost you about 8 lakh at the time of admission for full-time course. Okay, so just suppose this situation that maybe you are doing your graduation right now. Once you would be completing your graduation after 3 years, you would be opting out for post-graduation program, and that post graduation program, the cost is around 8 lakh at present time. Okay, when I'm telling present time, it means in future the cost may differ. So at present time it is 8 lakh rupees, whatever course you would be opting for your post graduation. Now you need to plan your finances because it's a huge amount and maybe you won't be able to afford that, but you want to study, you want to complete your studies with from good institutions and all that. So how you need to go about it? So this is just an example of financial goal. You have to think what should be your monthly investment that would help you able to pay that amount without getting a loan in 3 years down the line. So for that you have to start investing approx for 3 years. You have to plan your investment. You know that present value is rupees 8 lakh, and this value would differ because we know there is inflation going on, the prices or of commodities and even the services provided, they rise up with each year passing by at a certain inflation rate. So we have to consider that even when we talk about education cost, we know how there is hike in the fees of any of the courses and the programs being provided. So it won't be same, it won't be stagnant. This cost would increase after 3 years that you have planned. So you need to invest right now so that you would be able to you would be able to manage a corpus amount more than this, which would help you get throughout your education, get admission in your preferable course in post graduation. So you need to think about it. Now, what you need to consider over here, why is it a financial goal? Because we know what we have to do. We have a certain timeline. I have a certain timeline that after 3 years, I would be getting this. I want to buy this car. After 5 years, I'm planning to buy a new house. So I am attaching a certain timeline. I'm not just telling that I want this, I need this. No, I have to plan this in a proper way. I have to make my mindset that after 3 years, after 5 years, so I have to manage this timeline. I have to get an idea that this timeline is what or when I want my financial goal to achieve. So there is a definite timeline that after 3 years I would be conducting my post graduation. There is a definite cost at present value which I know, so I would be calculating the future value after 3 years. And then I have to plan for the monthly investment taking into consideration what is the inflation rate. So what could be the hike in the course amount. Okay, so these all things we would see in the coming slide. An estimate of these future expenses requires the following inputs. So how do you estimate your financial goal? How do you assess your financial goal? So first point is how much would be the expense if it were incurred today? So in the previous example, we saw that if we want to do the post-graduation, right now the course fee is 8 lakh rupees, which I took as an example. So you should know when you are assessing any of the financial goal which is there in your mind. It could be related to your marriage, buying a house, a car, anything that I mentioned. We took an example of education. It could be in any area. So you have to think that how much would be the expense if today at present you want to achieve that particular financial goal. So what is the present value? Then you need to know that how many years down the line the expense will be incurred. Okay, so the present value is this much, but you want to achieve that financial goal after a certain period of time because you want to invest and you know that your investment to grow at a certain profit percentage, it would take some time. It would take like more than 3 years or in between 3 to 5 years, which is generally suggested for equity investments. So you need to plan your finances before you achieve that financial goal some years before that. So you need to keep in mind how many years down the line the expense will be incurred. You have to be proactive whenever you are planning your finances. You see that if you want certain goal after a month or 2 months, it won't be possible for you. You have to be proactive. Few years back, you have to start planning so that after a few years you can achieve your certain financial goals and aspirations. So first one is how much would be the expense, the present value. Second thing is the timeline. How many years down the line the expense will be incurred. Then you need to think during the period how much is likely to be in rise in expense on account of inflation. So inflation is very important, and that's why we say that whenever you are making an investment, you need to see that at least you are getting a profit percentage that is more than the inflation rate, so that you don't end up earning nothing. Because even if you have made investment and the prices of the commodities and the services, they are increasing with a rate of for example 7% inflation rate. So if you are getting the same amount from your investment, also if you are getting 7% profit from your investment, there is actually no profit because you are just making as per the inflation rate. You have to beat the inflation. You have to earn more than the inflation. So inflation should be considered because the price that you pay for certain quantity at today time won't be same after few years. You have to pay higher prices to get the same quantity after few years because of the inflation. Then you need to think if any of these expenses are to be incurred in foreign currency. So many people are planning for higher education in any foreign country abroad they want to study. So for those kind of investors or client, they have to think about the exchange rate as well. We know that the currency goes through fluctuations as well. So what would be the exchange rate, how the currency would be affected. So that also need to be considered. So these are some of the ways in which you can assess your financial goal, and that's become important before we go through financial planning. Now let's come to calculate future value of financial goal. So we took that example where present value of post-graduation course at today's time was 8 lakh rupees. Now we want to take admission after 3 years. So what would be the future value? So this is just an example, and just see, go through the formula. Amount would be principal into 1 plus I raised to the power n. You can see this amount is rupee requirement in future. It means how much money you would require in the future for any of your financial goal. P is cost in today's term, the present value. So P you can also consider as present value. So what is today, at today's point of time, what is the cost of that particular thing that you want to achieve? I is the inflation rate that we need to consider. We need to beat this inflation so that our profit percentage could be higher and we would be able to manage our financial goal. N is number of years into the future when the expense will be incurred. Okay, so you need to consider this formula. A equals P into 1 plus I raised to power n. Now see this example. For example, if the current cost of whatever financial goal you want to achieve, present value, it is 1 lakh rupees. The inflation rate, for example, is 7%. Number of years is 5 years. After 5 years, you want a goal to achieve. Then what would be the total amount required after 5 years considering 7% inflation and present value of 1 lakh? So just put down all the values. 1 lakh into 1 plus 0.07 because it is in percentage terms. So 7 divided by 100 would be 0.07 raised to the power 5, and this would giving an amount of 1,40,255. So you see there is difference. At present the value was 1 lakh rupees, but after 5 years, considering only the inflation rate, if we go to purchase the same commodity, if you go to avail the same service, we would be paying extra 40,255 rupees. So this is what you need to consider, and this is what we call future value. So A that we calculated is actually future value, and future value is what exactly you have to plan for. Now you know that you need 1,40,255 rupees. So you should make an investment. You should consult to your financial planner or your advisor, and you should make an investment that would help you achieve this particular amount. So now you are having a target set in mind how much money you want. Now let's come to financial planning steps, how it is done. First is establish and define the client planner relationship. So whoever would be your financial planner and the client, there should be a relationship established related to the finances so that the process go with an ease. Second is gather client data, define client goals. So as a financial planner, what you need to do, you need to gather client data. You need to gather more and more client data relevant to the financial planning, not such data which is not related to financial planning. Then what's the use? So you need to gather such data that can affect the financial planning. You need to define client goals. So client won't be so, generally what we see, the investors, the client, they won't be so specific about how we see financial goal. So certain investors would be as such who would be having a precise thought that after certain years of time, I want this much amount, and this is today's inflation rate. So all clients are not like that. So you need to get a rough idea. You need to extract as much data as possible so that you can frame the client thought in a particular way what you want. So you need to gather client data. You need to ask him what exactly he wants from the investment, what he's aspiring to do, after how many years he would be comfortable. You need to ask these questions because all the clients and investors, they won't be just coming and telling you that I've planned this, now you suggest where to invest. They won't be giving such an exact information. So you need to extract the information, you need to gather the data, and then you need to define the client goals in your way. Third is analyze and evaluate clients' financial status. Once you know that what exactly is financial goal of the client, once you get the data, you need to analyze and evaluate the financial status of the client. So you have got all the data related to the job, what job your client is doing, is that permanent or not, is that government job or private job, what is the source of, is there multiple sources of income or is it a single source, or how many dependents are there in the family, is he a single earning member. So you can also ask like what are the debts on that particular client or the investor, so where he has taken loans and all, where the EMIs are going. So you need to extract all those data so that you can get an idea. I'm just giving these examples. You can get an idea about the financial status of the client. So what is the financial status of the client, what he could manage, how much he would be able to invest, and how much investment by his side won't disturb his household budget. So that need to be considered. How much risk he can take, what type of job he is into, how many dependents are there, all these things. So analyzing and evaluating clients' financial status, then develop and present financial planning recommendation. So once you have collected the data from your client, you have defined the financial goal of the client, and then you have analyzed and evaluated the client's financial status. Now you need to develop and present the financial planning recommendations. So now you can decide that where he should make investment, where all asset classes he should do, in what proportion it should be done, and these all financial planning recommendations should be ready at this particular point of time. And once it is developed and presented to the client, now it need to be implementing the financial planning recommendations. And after implementing, after the investment has been made and the target has been set, now there should be a constant monitoring as well. So monitoring the financial planning recommendations, that whether it is going as expectations or not, whether the goal would be achieved the way it is performing or not. So there should be a constant monitoring as well after all these things has been done. So these are simple steps related to financial planning which need to be done precisely to provide client and investor to help client and investor achieve their financial goals and objectives. Now let's come to the concept of goal-oriented versus comprehensive financial planning. A financial plan for a specific goal related to the aspiration and need is termed as goal-oriented financial planning. So if you have, as a client, if you go to financial planner and you have just one set of goals that you want to achieve, for example, you want to invest in land, a particular land after 3 years of time as an investment purpose in real estate, for example. So that's a single goal for which you want to make investment. That's your single target. That's your single financial goal. So that would be called as goal-oriented financial planning. Now your financial planner would only focus towards that goal. He won't consider what all other requirements you are having. He won't consider that. He would just look after the particular goal that you want to achieve. So that would be goal-oriented financial planning. What single thing you want to achieve at that point of time. Now, comprehensive financial plan, where all the financial goals of a person are taken together and the investment strategies are worked out on that basis. Comprehensive financial plan is much broader as compared with goal-oriented financial planning. So, in comprehensive financial plan, the financial planner would be as per the steps, he would be going through the data and analyzing your situation and then recommend you various things, like not just investment. If required, he would recommend you certain policies to be taken, certain insurance policies, health insurance policies. He would recommend you that as well. So he would give you a broader approach that what all things you need to do as per now. And he would also consider all the financial goals together. So whatever goals you are having, maybe not just a specific goal, you are having 2 to 3 goals in your mind after a certain timeline, and that all would be covered under a single comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive financial plan captures the estimated inflows from various sources and estimated outflows for various financial goals, including post-retirement living expenses. So comprehensive financial plan is a longer one as compared to the goal-oriented financial planning, and it would go till the retirement living expenses, the tax planning, then the estate planning. All these things can be covered, not just financial planning specifically. It would consider all those bill planning, estate planning, tax planning, retirement planning, all that can come under comprehensive financial plan, which is being recommended to the client or investor. So this is difference which you need to understand between goal oriented and comprehensive financial planning. Now let's come to life cycle stages. So we need to know about life cycle stages, at which life cycle stage, what are financial requirements, what would be financial goals, what could be our probable investments and saving strategy, etc. So starting with childhood. During this stage, focus is on education in most cases. Obviously, children are independents rather than earning members. Parents and seniors need to groom children to imbibe the virtues of savings, balance, and prudence. So, when you are children, you are not concerned for investments and all. Generally, we are talking not to exceptions that are seen in the children. So generally for most of the children, they are focused on their education, their play and all. And what we need to inculcate as parents and senior at that point of time to develop a habit of saving and to develop a habit of being prudence in their approach. So understanding the value of money from very childhood is important, and you as a parent, you as a senior can develop that thing in your children, that what is cost, how much one should pay for it, why giving extra money is not expected, and you should always ask what is the cost of a particular thing that you are going to purchase. So all those things, and developing a virtue of saving. So certain inflows, children also get money as in the form of pocket money or gift from the relatives, or the cashes that the relatives give to the children's. So all those gift, cash amount, pocket money, that could be used as saving, so that saving habit of saving can be developed in the children. And again, what I talked about, being prudence in the approach, so that's important that you imbibe the virtues of importance of money from very childhood, because that would help when the children would be a grown up adults. They would be having the same habit, they would be having the same understanding towards the money. Then, at the stage of young unmarried, the earning years start here. A few get on to high paying salaries early in their career. One should avoid falling into trap of luxurious lifestyle. So this is an age that you have completed your graduations, you have completed your college life, and now your earning has started, but it is not pretty much. It is what you can get a comfortable life from. So a very few people, very few young unmarried people, they get on to high paying salaries. Generally the earning year you are paid, when you start your job you are paid low. Only after certain experiences you get on to high paying job and high income grade. So at starting you are earning usually less, and at this point of time what you should avoid is that getting trapped into luxurious lifestyle, because we know that when this is the life cycle stage, being young and unmarried, we are more prone to get attracted towards a luxurious lifestyle. We want to have a dream car of ours. We want to spend our money in parties, and we want to enjoy our holidays, weekends. We want to go out to the restaurants with our friends. We want to have so many clothes, trendy clothes, designer clothes, branded clothes. So all those things where we want to spend our money when we are young and unmarried. So we are earning less, we know that, but still whatever we are earning, we used to spend all that in our luxurious lifestyle. We don't try to save, we don't try to make an investment. So here at the stage when you are young and unmarried, you are not having dependence on you. You are not having you haven't married, so you are not having so much of responsibility. So you are so free that you just spend all the money that you are earning. So here you need to consider that you have to inculcate the habit of investment. So whether you invest in mutual fund, whether you start investing in stocks, shares, because at this point of time you are able to take higher risk, you can make investments and you can grow your corpus, your money, you can develop the habit of saving. So at this stage, when you are young and married, you have to develop this habit of investment. So rather than you fall into trap of this all friends, parties, weekends, then holidays, restaurants, all these things, because there is no limit to it. You will get into habit and you will keep on spending. And even when your salary will increase, you will see a lot of amount going in the same direction. So what you need to develop is the habit of investment. You have to start your mutual funds, you have to start trading in shares, and this would be the best possible option at this stage. Personal plans on marriage, vehicle, and residence determine the need of equity investment. It would also be good that you plan on yourself, whether you want to fund your marriage, whether you want to buy a new car, whether you want to buy your own house. That's all financial goals. So you are not just spending into luxuries or making expenses. You are planning, you are having certain financial plans you want to achieve. So that's again a better option. You can plan for these things, and again you would like to have a new car, you would like to have a new house. That would be a better way to enjoy your life rather than getting into trap of this lifestyle. So it's better to plan for these, and thus you can determine the need of your investment in equity instrument, that is share market and all, so that you have liquidity also maintained and you can get a proper financial plan to achieve certain financial goal at earlier stage of life, so that you won't be burdened later once you get married and once you are having so much of responsibilities on you. Then comes the stage of young marriage. So once you are married, you are suddenly there would be a lot of responsibilities which you were not even ready for, and you would realize that all these responsibilities are coming, and you are getting stuck in your particular lifestyle. So what you need to think over here, that where okay, one thing or more, that where both spouses have decent jobs, life can be financially comfortable. So if you and your wife or you and your husband both are earning, both are having a decent job, so life could be financially comfortable. You won't have to think so much. You can plan your finances very well. But if only one spouse is working and your wife or your husband is not working, it's like they are dependent on you. So in that case, there would be extra requirement. There would be requirement of life insurance for that single earning member or single earning spouse, to provide for any kind of risk or contingencies which can be absolutely critical. Okay, so if both of you are working, then it's good, it's quite good that your married life would be a little better than the condition where only one spouse is working, and in that particular condition there would be the requirement of life insurance would be very critical, because only single member is earning, and if anything happens to him or her, then the dependents would be suffering from it at very early stage. So life insurance requirement becomes important. Also at this point of time, when you are young and married, it's very important that you get life insurance during this only, because when you are young, the premiums that you would be paying on your life insurance would be quite low. As you grow older, the premiums charged to you would be quite higher, and the corpus what you would be getting would be the same. The sum assurance, what we say, the sum insurance of financial coverage that you would be getting, that would be same, but the premium that you would pay with when you are getting elder and at the middle age, then the premiums would be higher. So when you are young married, it's better to get life insurance, because the premium charge would be less, and there would be a security to your life, as well as you can get this health insurance as well. So if your employer where you are working, they are not providing you enough medical coverage, if they are providing you enough medical coverage, that's okay to maintain your health in any kind of difficulty, so there won't be extra requirement. But if you are not getting enough medical coverage by your employer, then another health insurance policy should be planned so that all things could be all things could go well even in the situations which are uncertain and risk related. Okay, so here when you are young, married, you need to inculcate the habit of investment as well, and you need to have these insurance so that you can be a little comfortable with your life. Then comes the stage of married with young children. Insurance need for both life and health cover increase with every child. So as you are having child, there would be more responsibilities. You may require to have additional health cover and life insurance for your child as well. So expenses for education, right from preschool to normal schooling to higher education, is growing much faster than regular inflation. So all those responsibilities, all those expenses related to your child education, related to your child's lifestyle, all those would now start incurring when you are having this young children. So adequate investments are required to cover this. So right from the stage of when you are young, unmarried, you need to inculcate the habit of investment, and this will be going throughout your life, the investment thing. And when you are young married, you have to look out for insurance also so that you can be comfortable. And when you are having this young children, now you need to fund for their educations, which is growing at much faster rate, which it is mentioning over here, more than even the inflation rate. So you need to keep this all thing in mind. Then when you are married with older children, the cost associated with helping the children settle, cost of housing, getting a house for your children, getting your children's married, so cost of marriage, etc. are shooting up. If investments in growth assets like shares and real estates are started early in life and maintained, it would help ensure that the children enjoy the same lifestyle when they set up their independent families. So when the children were young, at that time only, these investments should have been started. The investment that would manage the cost of housing, the investment that would manage the cost of your children's marriage. So for all these financial goals, the investment should have been started right at that point of time when you were having those younger children's. Okay, so if you have made a good investment at that point of time, you won't be able to go through any trouble, and the lifestyle could be maintained along with all the financial goals. So all the financial goals could be achieved of marriage and housing along with maintaining the lifestyle. Then comes the stage of pre-retirement. So once you are over with all your responsibilities, this stage comes where the children should have start earning. So now is the stage that where you have done your responsibilities for your children. Now your children are capable enough to start earning and contributing to the family expenses. So at this point of time, any loans taken for purchase of house or car or education should have been extinguished. All the loans that you have taken by this time of pre-retirement, that all loans should be paid off, that all loans should be closed. Okay, this is what it means over here. So by this particular time period, children should start contributing to family expenses, loans should have been closed, all the loans. Then the family ought to plan for the retirement. So now you can, at the stage of pre-retirement, now you can plan of your retirement so that you can lead the same lifestyle and you can manage your regular expenses. You don't have to depend on somebody. So now when the stage of retirement comes, you should have enough adequate corpus, the interest on which should help you meet regular expenses. So once you are not having your job, you should now be having a certain source of income that could maintain the same lifestyle. So the income through the pension, income through wherever you have made investments, you can make those withdrawals and all those things. So a regular source of meeting your expenses. The availability of any pension income and its coverage will determine the corpus requirement. So this is at the stage of retirement. Now let's come to this wealth cycle. So there are different stages related to wealth cycle: accumulation stage, transition, intergenerational transfer, reaping, distribution, and sudden wealth. So let's go through this. Accumulation is the stage where the investor is trying to build more and more wealth. So accumulation means what? You are accumulating a lot of amounts. So you are making investments, you are trying to grow your wealth at a higher speed. Now this accumulation stage, it covers the earning years of the investors, the phases of life cycle from young unmarried to pre-retirement. So all your earning years, right from once you were young and you got your job, right from that till your retirement or pre-retirement stage when you were earning, you have to accumulate as much wealth as possible. So accumulation stage. So that you can meet your financial goals, and the same thing, you can manage your finances in a good way. You don't have to look out for loans and all. Then comes the transition phase. What is transition phase in this wealth cycle? It is a phase when financial goals are in the horizon. So whenever your financial goals are coming nearby, that phase is called transition phase. For example, house to be purchased, children's higher education slash marriage, house to be purchased, children's higher education slash marriage. Given the impending requirements of one, investors tend to increase the proportion of their portfolio in liquid assets. Okay, so transition phase is where your financial goals are coming nearby. You have to now spend your money on children's higher education. You have to get out the money for, you have to get the money for your children's marriage and all. So all those requirements are now coming nearby. So what you need to do, you need to see that you can liquidate your investment. Your portfolio could be liquidated. Liquidation means selling off your asset and getting the money in your bank account. So you have to see that the proportion of your portfolio in liquid assets, where you can easily redeem your money, where you can easily sell off the assets and get the money. Then comes the stage of intergenerational transfer. During this phase, the investor starts thinking about orderly transfer of wealth to the next generation. So this stage is about estate planning, or what we say will planning, related to properties that has been accumulated over all those years, distributing that property. So this is what we say intergenerational transfer. Any tax issues related, any inheritance things. So all those things you have to go to the financial planner, and investor need to understand that how the will planning should be done, how it should be distributed, what all would be the tax applicable, and what could be the related legal matters. So intergenerational transfer, this also comes under wealth cycle stage. Then there is stage of reaping slash distribution. This is the stage where the investor needs regular money. It is parallel of retirement phase in life cycle. So when you are at the stage of retirement, that particular time you need a regular source of money. So we talked about the pension income or any such investment which is providing a regular source of income to cover the monthly expenses, maintaining the same lifestyle. So that is the retirement phase, and this comes under the wealth cycle stage of distribution, where you need to manage the regular source of your income. Then there is this wealth cycle stage, which is referred as sudden wealth. So it's like winning lotteries. It's like unexpected inheritance of wealth, any property from your ancestral property, unusual high capital gains on. So these are some examples of sudden wealth, and this should not be just spent without even planning in a good way. So if you are at that time, whenever you are getting sudden wealth in your life cycle, so you need to get advice from the financial planner so that you can channelize the wealth into investments for long-term benefits of your family as well as yours. So whatever sudden wealth or this unexpected amount you are getting, that also should be considered under financial planning. Now let's look at this risk profiling. So here are some of the factors and then influence on risk appetite. So just see how this risk profiling is done of any client or the investor. So first is earning members. Risk appetite increases as the number of earning members increases. Okay, so more the earning members in your family, more you would be capable of taking risk in the investment, because there are other people also earning in your family. So even if some of your investment is not doing well, you are taking higher risk, they would be able to manage the finances of the family. So more the earning member, more would be your risk appetite. Dependent member, in the same way we can also say that less the earning members, less would be the risk appetite of yours. So you would be able to take less risk if there are less earning members in your family. Dependent members, risk appetite decreases as the number of dependent members increases. So more the people are dependent on your particular income, you would be able to take lesser of the risk. So lesser the dependent, more the risk, more the dependent, lesser the risk appetite. The same logic that so many people are dependent on you and lesser earning members are there. So if you are taking higher risk and any unfortunate thing happens to your hard earned money, then how would your family manage in that particular situation? So if there would be lesser dependent members on your particular income, you would be able to take higher risk in your investment. If there would be higher dependent members, you would be able to take lower risk appetite. Life expectancy. Risk appetite is higher when life expectancy is longer. So the same logic, when you are young, you can take higher risk. When you are going towards the phase of pre-retirement and retirement, at that particular time, you should not take higher risk in your investment. You should rather invest in debt instruments and capital protection funds. So this is what it is. This is what the factor is defining over here. Age, lower the age, higher the risk that can be taken. The same logic, when you are young, you can take higher risk because you are not having so many dependents on you. But as the age pass by, you are having so much of financial goals coming nearby. There are children, your spouse, your family members. So higher the age, more the responsibility. So you won't be able to take much risk in your investment. But lower the age, lesser the dependent, you won't be able to take higher risk and in your investments. Employability, well qualified and multi skilled professionals can afford to take more risk. So, if you are in a well qualified field of education or job and you are multi skilled, you are having multiple source of income, so your risk taking capability increases in investments. But if you are just dependent on a single job and that too also not a high skilled job which is not paying you much, so you won't be able to take much risk in your investment, and even it would be advisable by the planners. Nature of job, those with steady jobs are better positioned to take risk, and this is the reason why the government jobs are considered safe over here, because they are having a steady jobs. They know that they would be it would be there is a continuity, there is a assurance for lifetime. So steady jobs are better positioned to take risk. And if your job, it's you are not sure that your job about your job, anytime you would be out of your job, so in that condition you should not take higher risk in your investments. Okay, so also related to psychology, daring and adventurous people are better positioned mentally to accept the downsides than okay, so it's not clear over here. So here it is just mentioning that those people who are strong mentally, who are daring and who like doing adventures and all, they are the people who can take the risk of investment, who can take higher risk. It won't affect them so much because it is in their psychology, it is their mindset, but then there are people who don't like taking a lot of risk in their life, who just go in a calm way. So for those people it would be a little difficult to go through the risk in the investments. Capital base, higher the capital base, better the ability to financially take the downside that comes with the risk. So here it is telling about the capital base. If that would be better than the downsides of the risk. When your investments would be going down, when the value would be reducing, you would be financially stable and you would be able to go through it and wait for the investments to again increase. So the capital base determine that. Regularity of income. People earning regular income can take more risks than those with unpredicted income streams. So again, if your income is stable, if you are earning regularly, if you are assured of your income, so you would be able to take higher risk as compared to those people who are not sure of their job, who are not sure of their income streams, the income streams that are unpredictable. So they won't be able to take higher risk. Now let's come to asset allocation. So once the risk profiling is done of the client and investor, it becomes important to allocate the asset. Allocating asset means investing in different asset classes. So asset allocation is the process of allocating the investable surplus, that is the money being invested, across various asset classes. So these asset classes could be equity, debt, gold, real estate, all those are different asset classes, commodities, etc., to diversify as per investment objective. And diversification, we know that it's very important because it reduces the risk. If your portfolio have a diversification in different asset classes, so even if, for example, equities are not performing well at that particular point of time, the gold and the debt instruments might be performing well, and you will be getting a certain return percentage as per your expectation. When the gold and the debt instruments are not performing well, the equity might be shooting up. So diversification becomes important to reduce the risk and for different nature of different asset classes to perform during different phases of economy. A mixture of asset classes is more likely to meet the investor's expectation in terms of amount of risk and possible return. So same thing. And allocation means distributing your investment amount into different asset classes. So this is what all about asset allocation. Now let's see factors determining asset allocation. First is financial goals, risk profile, life cycle stage, wealth cycle stage, amount of investment, tenure of investment. So we know that all these factors together determine that where the investment should be done, what all asset classes should be chosen. What is your financial goal, how much risk you can take, at what life cycle stage you are, whether you are young, married, with children, etc., at what wealth cycle stage you are during your transition phase, any financial goal is coming nearby, or it is just the accumulation stage, amount of investment, how much money you are having for the investment so that your family's finances are not disturbed and the stability is maintained, tenure of investment, for what is the timeline of your financial goal to be achieved and for your particular investment. So all these factors, they together determine where the allocation of money should be made in what all asset classes. Now let's talk about this model portfolios. Financial planners often work with model portfolios to ascertain the asset allocation mix that is most appropriate for different risk appetite levels. So model portfolio is like financial planners, they make an estimate about there are n number of clients. There are so many clients, and going through every client and making a specific portfolio for every client becomes a little difficult job to do. So what generally financial planners do they try to consolidate on the basis of investment objective, on the basis of the risk taking capability and the investing amount capability. So all those things are taken into consideration, and then different types of portfolios are made, so that if a person is falling into one particular group, like the person is falling in the group of where the people is able to take lower risk, where the people are at the middle age and they want to invest for a certain period of time, so those people would be recommended with the same portfolio because they are having same risk taking capability, same investment objective, and almost similar factors that are influencing. So model portfolios are created. So the people with the same investments, same investment, same investment factors, they can be considered under the same group, and the same portfolio can be recommended. So just see with the examples, you will get a better idea that those who are young call center / BPO employees with no dependents. So what should be a model portfolio for all such clients, all such investors? So this is just an example for all those clients who are working at call center BPO employee. We know that what could be the probable salary range. We know that there are no dependents, so what could be the risk-taking capability? So we are having an idea of the salary and the risk-taking capability. So what could be the model portfolio for them? 50% of amount should go in diversified equity scheme through SIP, 20% should be going in sector funds so that the risk can be taken because the person is young and there are no dependents, so 20% should be in the most riskier fund. 10% should be in gold ETF to maintain the balance. 10% should be in diversified debt fund, 10% in liquid schemes. So this is just an example of a model portfolio. So everyone who would be falling under the same group would be recommended with the same portfolio, same model portfolio. Now let's see another example. Young married single income family with 2 school going kids. Now the recommendation could be 35% in diversified equity scheme, 10% in sector fund. So you can see that the investment in sector fund was 20%. Now it has been reduced to 10% because the risk taking capability is little reduced with the children's and the marriage coming into picture. So 10% sector fund. So risk has been reduced, 15% in gold ETF. So more balance is being provided, 30% in diversified debt fund, 10% in liquid scheme. So more of more of a debt instrument is being recommended over here as compared to young with no dependents when you are married and you are having your kids. So it is moving towards debt instruments. Then single income family with grown up children who are yet to settle down. Now you can see that as the age is maturing, more the investment is going towards the debt fund and lesser is going towards the equity scheme. Okay, just you can analyze that. Here it was 50% in diversified equity scheme. Here it come to 35%. Again 35% is maintained, but 15% is now in gold ETF. Sector fund, there is no investment because at this point of time it is not preferably investing in riskier fund is not what is recommended. So 15% in gold ETF, 15% in gilt fund. Gilt fund are the most safer instrument. So at this point of time, when your children have to settle down, when your financial goals are coming nearby, you are investing in government securities which are very much safe and so that your money could be safe and can be utilized when the goals come nearby. 15% in diversified debt fund, 20% in liquid schemes. So also you can just see that liquid schemes, the proportion has been increased 20%. Previously it was 10% in liquid scheme, now it is 20% in liquid scheme because this is the states where financial goals like children's higher education, children's marriage, settling down of children's, all those things would be coming nearby. So more investment in liquid asset which can be redeemed at any point of time is recommended. Couple in their 70s with no immediate family support. So this is when the people are at the age of retirement and all after retirement. So 15% would be in diversified equity index scheme. Index scheme is again a safer one, 10% in gold ETF, now 30% in gilt fund. You can see the most safest common securities fund, the proportion is now increased to more. Previously it was 15% recommended, now at this particular group it is recommended 30% because you are at the stage of retirement and you have to have a safer asset instrument, a safer asset class which can meet your expenses. 30% in diversified fund, 15% in liquidity schemes. Okay, so this is how model portfolios are created and people falling under each group, they are recommended with the same kind of portfolio with little here and there. So this is how model portfolios help the financial planners save their time. Now please go through these multiple choice questions. Try attempting all the questions. First one is, according to Certified Financial Planner, Board of Standards USA, which of the following is the first stage in financial planning? A. Establish and define the client-planner relationship. B. Gather client data, define client goals. C. Analyze and evaluate client's financial status. D. Develop and present financial planning recommendations. So the correct option is option A. Coming to second question, maximum ability to take risk is in accumulation phase. State whether true or false. A true, B false. And the correct option is option A. The comprehensive financial plan captures the estimated inflows from various sources. State whether true or false. And the correct option is option A, true. An expense of rupees 50,000 in today's money terms is likely to be required in 3 years. Inflation is expected at 10%. How much will be the future requirement of the money? So choose the correct formula. And the correct option is option A. All financial goals are taken together in A. Comprehensive financial plan, B. Goal-oriented financial plan. And the correct option is option A. Comprehensive financial plan. So thank you for watching. Keep up the support. Thank you all.